I'm reading the cooling diagrams. I'm super thorough on instructions, right? So going through the manual, and they specifically said this has to be a air bleed system that has a expansion tank. And so basically that's that guy in the back, right? Had nowhere to mount some of this stuff. I'm like, okay, where am I going to start putting some of these things? So one of my questions that I had for you is this radiator cap does not need to be accessed ever. So that's non-serviceable or functional, you could say. So that cap, what we actually did is you take the cap and you take the whole lower mechanism off to where it's only sealing from the upper gasket, but the lower bypasses, and it's just a bypass. It literally just goes through there. Exactly. So that's going to be your pressurized system. So
that works.
What I would like to do is take a piano hinge and cut a little tiny access door, and then Velcro the back side of your carpet right there, so that at least you can get to the radiator cap. You can get to it and fill it, but it's going to be a pain in the ass. So that was the one thing that I was kind of like, man, but I had nowhere to put it. So I was like, I got to either think about how I'm going to fill this system or ask you, is it plausible to put an access panel right there?
I don't mind like solutions like that as long as it's clean. That's my biggest thing.
Right.
So,
and same thing, you know, like clean solutions, right? That center console didn't work, so we made an aluminum custom center console, made it to where it fit with the bezel, you know, four-wheel drive. We mounted all your switches up in here, so when they're on, they're visible face up to you, so you can see the lights come straight up at you. We did the custom bezel for the dash and the gauges here, so that's all installed.
It looks really nice. It looks really nice. Is that aluminum? Oh no, that's plastic.
Yeah, that's aluminum.
Okay.
Yeah. Then packaged all of the wiring as, I'm going to say, factory as possible. So the ECU is mounted just behind the battery.
Okay.
Then come back across over to this side, and we've got our
the fuse block.
this is the fuse block, exactly. This is going to be where the extension hooks up. Yep. You've got your
extension.
So the extensions actually kind of come right through where the factory harness is. So you go side by side with the factory harness and lean those together. And then I'll raise it up and I'll show you. I'll show you the front side where it's already at. So coming through here, I have the bulkhead coming right through the bottom of the firewall.
Gotcha.
And it's already installed. So basically, as soon as I had that patch cable, I can mount that. That's what he said, so quick. And be able to get that done.
He knocked that out really fast.
Killed it.
I was like, what the hell? You know, like, I guess he got the parts and he just got it going really quick.
Yeah, Colin got on him and was like, dude, I can't wait till March or whatever he said the first time. And he was like, anyway, like, come on, man, we're building badass right here. Get this thing done. And he was like, okay, I can probably do it by this time, but you need to tell me everything you need, right? So he's like, okay, no problem.
Do you have the block necessary for this guy, for the condenser? I thought he was in there.
Yeah, no, I
you
have
do? Okay, cool.
That. So that's pretty much that. So where I'm at right now is everything is mounted solid.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
Radiators in. Perfect. We were working on hoses last night. We got hoses made for it. Okay, perfect. I'm working on final ducting for the intercooler and intake piping. Last night, just at the end of the night, I was starting to fit the fresh air system for the actual main intake system for the air filter box. I wanted to, because of how the filter is, have serviceable from the bottom, reuse your factory air filter.
Can you do it?
No way that I can do it. Because this can't be cut. It has to be this exact length.
This thing has two tubes coming.
Yep, it has two tubes coming out for the snorkel. Saw that. So the main tube right here, this amount of tube cannot be cut and has to have the same volume in order for this to read properly. So so what we're going to do is I have a air filter that will be removable from the bottom. We're going to make a new aluminum box that fits all this in, duct it into your snorkel, so it has bypasses into the snorkel like factory, so that'll all be down in there to make that work. So same premise and idea, just have to reshape some stuff to make it fit in the hole with how this has to be. And then that'll pretty much finish up that area. These two hoses right here are the vents off of the air compressor. We're going to take those and duct those into the air box as well. So then the vents are actually inside the air box.
Don't have to worry about separate filters and shit like that.
So then that'll all be sealed in there. Power steering, the reservoir is right next to the coolant there. easy access. That one you can actually get to pretty simple.
Okay.
All of the lines that we've done are all AN, so everything's all removable, replaceable, rebuildable, you know, whatever. The only line on the vehicle that will not be AN is the pressure line for the power steering. It's an actual physical hydraulic hose, right? Pressure ratings. So
it's crimped.
Yeah, it's crimped, exactly.
Okay.
Then,
Man, this
yeah, I mean, basically working on lines.
So
the next
power, AC.
Yep.
Is
AC.
power steering all plumbed up and everything?
Power steering's all plumbed. I'll put it up in the air and I'll show you what's up with that. I have one hose that's over on Jesse's table. I literally just marked it and clocked the ends yesterday. So what I usually do is I go over to a company here. It's called Service Center Radiator, but they do hydraulic hoses. And so I told them, hey, I need 36 inches of hose and these 2 ends. When they're crimped, you can't move them. And if you try to, you know, you're twisting the hose and it's retarded, right? So put both ends on, turned the hose, got it laid in where I wanted, marked everything for my clocking. They just got to go get crimped. So then that'll be the final hose for power steering. Still doing a little bit of stuff with the heater hoses. I don't quite like how they're laying in there. I was using standard clamps. I'm going to take all the clamps off and use a heat wedge style. So they're not metal clamps. It's actually, have you seen those? It's like
maybe I have. I don't know what they're called.
It's like heat shrink, but it's made for radiator hoses, and it's a hose clamp that you literally just heat on, and they shrink around, and they look like a factory. I don't know if you've ever seen like the plastic T fittings. And they have like those little ends on them. Same idea. And so it'll keep the profile down. There won't be metal over there. It'll keep that a little bit cleaner. So that was one thing that I was working on a little bit last night. Same deal. Oil lines, they had to be a little longer, so we had two new oil lines made to be able to mount that back there. Fuel filter and primer is still, you know, obviously
right there,
serviceable, so you can.
I could pump it.
Push that guy out, boom, still be able to get to it to pump it, right? So that's, you know, again, trying to make everything to where it's functional, accessible, usable. So that's kind of where we're at, I guess, on the top end side. Wiring wise, alternators ran, starters ran, all the main battery circuits are ran, everything's tied back over into the main box. All the solenoids are already done. All the electrical wires that are original computer control or glow plug control or anything like that have been completely stripped all the way to the dash, out of the harness. Everything's been completely retaped and reloomed back. Everything's been reloomed back across. I still have to go in and all this looming. I got to come in and tie in and actually finish and loom all that up and finalize that. Just to where all these wires are nice and loomed up. And then same deal with this. Once I get the patch harness in, I'll loom all this and that'll be loomed, so everything will be identical to this with the protective looming on the outside. Then,
it's a clean job, so
yeah, really clean, I was trying to say, like, our quality, we try to really put out a product that people are proud of. So,
it looks good. It's really, really nice. I'm kind of blown away right now.
Awesome.
Just seeing it already. Were you guys able to notch the TK shifters to get a neutral?
I have not even done that. So I was on the list still. Transfer case controls. That's pretty much one of the last things that we're working on for physical components, right? So cable and then making the bracket systems. Then I've got to wire in your fuel sending unit. After I wire in your fuel sending unit, I've got 2 or 3 wires under this that I've got to wire in. So like thinking about wiring, I've got maybe 2 hours of wiring left. Like pretty much it's dialed. I've got to run my fan wire down to my fans. I got to plumb my AC switch for the switching circuit when I do the AC lines. So some minor stuff for wiring to do that. And then other than that, we're basically at AC hoses, drive lines, fluids. Make run. I mean, like, we're damn close. We're damn close.
Ready to turn it.
Yeah, we're damn close. So, like, as soon as we get the AC stuff repackaged up underneath there, then we're going to be right there. And really, it's the patch harness. I can't do anything without that. I turn the key on, it just doesn't do shit. So, like, once I have a key, then...
You'll be able to see it.
Exactly. So, that's everything pretty much here. I'll get her up in the air. You can see some of the stuff we get underneath. Original original Transcooler, reused it as a power steering cooler from there. I'll show you where we package the Transcooler currently for the new setup. AC condenser, intercooler,
Oh, yeah, they're stacked.
radiator,
Yeah,
stack,
yeah, yeah.
double stack, right? So then now your intercooler, if you come over here, comes up and goes up and then around the radiator to each side
Right.
of the intake and then from the turbo. So pretty tight up in there, same deal. Everything in here has been within mass asses.
Like this.
The
Is this wired for the AC or wired to like
so it's
continuous
actually
to run for the intercooler?
it's going to be on 3 temperature circuits.
Okay.
So basically how it's going to work is this, is that if the fan to the engine is running and
Yeah.
it begins to get to a temperature that is just over 15 degrees over operating fan temperature for the main radiator,
Right.
this will turn on to pull air from the front
Yeah.
and just push it up into that cooled
It'll
area,
get sucked
right?
in there,
Exactly.
yeah,
If the AC turns on, it automatically turns on. We have an air intake temp also.
That will-
So
it'll
air
turn on.
intake temp, if the AC is off and the intercooler is
that's
starting
it.
to go up, then it'll automatically turn on too.
I love how you're thinking about these
So
things.
trying to make it to where, you know, everything is, you know, like I said, if there's a redundancy,
Yeah.
let's put it in place. It's a matter of a switch, right? Transcooler, same deal, is going to be done off of a temperature switch that we put in line on that thermostatic module.
Okay.
So what we did is on one of the hoses coming out, we put an AN inline temperature sensor and then tied the fan into that.
Okay.
So then that way the fan will turn on temp for transmission.
Will we be able to run still like the skid?
Yep. So we're still going to put the skid pan back on there.
Okay.
We just haven't finished that yet. It clears this stuff. So.
The one that comes down off of here clears it too? Or?
So no,
Okay.
that upper bracket does not. So we're looking at how we're going to retain the upper portion.
I think, yeah, it's important to have the bottom one, but yeah, if you can figure out something in this
Yep.
area.
Yep. Nope. We're going to tie this back in, and we're basically it's skid all the way down.
Okay. Okay, sweet.
So, and that was obviously the idea with this skid pan, trying to make it to where everything, plastic oil pans. I was like, dude, 1 minute of a contact
It's
and it's
gonna
over.
smash.
So like,
I'll show you one of the skids I did have at one point, which is a design you might want to consider. Aluminum skid, and it actually tied from the front here,
Yep.
all the way back here. This is the beginning when I had them. Actually, you know what? I'll show it to you later,
okay.
just because I know you're walking through this. I don't want you to lose your train of thought.
Yeah, no problem. So power steering lines obviously come up here, tucked around there. One goes back over to the reservoir, one comes up to the rack. This is the only one that's not hooked up as it's getting crimped. That's the one I got to go send out to get crimped. The
Okay.
main pressure line.
Okay.
Then we can come around over to this side.
I like how that main skid though.
The height of where things were at. So I was like,
Right.
man, we need to go up another half an inch. We need
Yeah.
to do this, you know. So we changed a few things to make sure that we had a really nice,
That's
smooth
perfect.
line.
That's right in
Yep.
line with it. Yeah.
And then stainless steel aero exhaust, all TIG welded, put in place there. We're gonna add one thing right here. We're gonna add a flex pipe.
Okay.
Just so there's not extra force that's actually just sitting on the band clamp of the turbo. I realized that your other one was solid, and then when I had Jesse weld this up, I started thinking about it, and I was like, we should put a flex portion in there just so that it doesn't crack welds.
Yeah, yeah.
So then coming back here, we've got the transcooler mounted just above the cage right here. So transcooler secondary fan and hoses are going to come from here right to the side of the transmission over there. Put this back here again because we're packaging. You know,
Right,
we're
right,
going to
right.
really start mounting things.
As long as it's tucked
So-
up in behind this guy.
Exactly.
Which I'm fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we've got our compressor and our expansion tank that you got right up over here for the 2 solenoids.
Okay. Yep.
And then comes over to our Viar tank. This tank is basically going to be charged by the compressor. The tank is then going to feed the manifold, and then also you've got your front and rear air ports that are going to be tied in for your air jacks. All that is dash 4 AN line.
Okay.
They gave us a plastic line for your air lockers,
yeah, yeah. The push-on line,
Yeah,
right?
the push-on line. Always gets brittle and breaks. So same deal for those. We're going from the manifold to the air lockers with all dash 4 AN line as
Okay.
well.
Okay.
So everything in the whole truck's going to be, or van is going to be all dash 4 AN. And 99% of that is here. Colin was saying, you know, like you're kind of wondering how the parts ordering stuff is going. As I got to each stage of going like, okay, this is mounted, now I can foresee what fittings and what hoses and what, you know.
You gotta do the big pieces and then like layer on from
exactly,
there, right?
exactly. So where we're at right now is basically finalizing running air systems, a couple electrical systems, some AC lines, and drive lines, and then like we are really close, like I said, to having this thing fired up. The electric parking brake is just above the muffler there, if you wanted to see that. And we're going to tie that into that silver box.
Right there, right there.
Yep. And so that comes in right through your factory parking brake cable location.
Okay.
And then we are taking your parking brake and fabricating the end here, so then we can have the pull from your factory parking brake rear half.
E-stop. That's cool.
And then that's all wired up on the dash, and basically it's just a push button selection. You push it, and then when you push it, it pulls until it has 460 foot-pounds of holding pressure, and then stops pulling.
Okay.
So basically make sure that that parking brake's fully set. You know?
Right.
That is kind of the circle, you know what I mean? Like, it's doesn't seem like it's been much, but there has been a significant amount to get here.
To package, the biggest thing is the packaging.
Yeah.
Crazy packaging.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's such a small, compact space.
That's
because it's not like a long wheelbase; it's a really short wheelbase.
Right, and everything has been like where you have to be exactly on the money, because if you're off at all, you're touching somewhere.
Right.
And so there's been a few things where we were like, man, could I have moved this much and then you're like, nope, because it would have hit here, or nope, it would have hit there. So like, it's kind of crazy how when you choose your final placement of your motor before you start packaging everything else around it, and then you go, holy shit, how did we choose this spot? Because this spot made it to where everything was right there. And if we chose any other direction, it would have been...
It's going to be off. Yeah. You're going to be bumping stuff.
Yep.
Rubbing. Well, I saw how the engine has moved forward, so now you got some space behind it.
Exactly, and that's where we're able to package those other things. And I was like, okay, cool.
How much forward is the engine compared to stock? Do you guys know?
Compared to stock,
it's about 8 inches.
I would say it's probably forward by, I can tell by the dip actually. Maybe 4 inches, because like the front of the oil pan before was just behind the axle.
Right.
And so now we're talking, maybe 4 inches.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking weight distribution.
Right.
You know, like if it's too far forward, but then that transmission is like, that thing's 250 pounds, or 220 pounds.
Exactly.
And I weighed the OEM one. That is 150 pounds. I was carrying around my garage. So.
Right.
Do you have a bracket?
A turbo on the back side, because there's 2 bolts on the back of the turbo.
Oh yeah,
2 bolts
so
here to support the bottom side of the turbo.
No, so there was a DPF filter, and that supported the DPF.
Okay, 10-4. We didn't know if that was a bracket for the turbo, and we wanted to make sure it was supported properly. Right. Because I know they came with cats, and so I think cats and DPF. So makes sense.
And the axis, they're tuned. It's tuned without the DPF, and they gave me the elbow for a note to delete it.
Right. Okay, perfect. Then I'll just pull those 2 bolts.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, other than that.
So, I was telling you guys, I got messages from people in Taiwan, China, Australia, all throughout the U.S. Hey, when's the next video gonna drop?
That's cool. That's awesome.
Like tons of people. Like, hey, is it gonna come out soon? What's going on? What's happening? You know.
Right.
So
no, we've been. We keep talking about it. We're like, man, where are we at? How many days in are we? What's going on? And I'm like, we feel like we're really accomplished. Today will be day 13, but we're not really working on it right this minute. So, yesterday was day 12.
Right.
And so I'm like, for 12 days of physical work on the truck,
lot of work.
We've accomplished a shit ton.
Yeah.
So, and I think we probably only have maybe drain plug access. Yeah. Cool. And then what we're going to do too, we're going to throw this back on the table, and we're going to cut a slot back here, for water and
Water and
drainage.
stuff like that, yeah.
Exactly,
Okay.
just to be able to have general drainage. Progress so far, it's been I'm going to say pretty challenging project. I didn't anticipate the like
Packaging. It's packaging,
right.
packaging.
When I was talking to Colin, I said, man, I think this was probably one of the hardest ones to, have a conversation over the phone versus when you get it and go, okay, how's this going to work?
Yeah.
Exactly. Because it was just tight.
Yeah.
Everything's super tight. But it's been a really cool project, and everybody that comes in here, they're like, damn, you made that thing fit in there.
Yeah.
Like, it fits right there.
Yeah, it's like you're sitting on top of everything.
Right. So...
Fun project though.
Yeah, no, it's been super fun.
Right?
Super fun. It's been awesome.
And be able to pull off something like this too.
Well, that's what I told the guys. I was like, I don't know if there's too many people, not to pat ourselves on the back, but there's not too many people who could really
Pull it off.
probably get this to where it's not a 3-year project.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I
for
mean?
sure.
Like, where it's just the fucking never-ending nightmare where you're like, I don't know, I'm stuck again, and it's at your house for a year before you find out how to make that one widget work.
Or you're chopping up body parts, moving the axle back. And
Right,
shit
right,
like
just
that.
crazy shit. And that's the thing too, is that like everything that we take into consideration when we're building it, it's how can we make this as factory as possible to where it was meant to be in this vehicle, and we're not doing things that are just like outlandish, oh, I need to move the frame 2 inches, or some crazy shit. So it's definitely been, something that we wanted it to be a factory feel. When you got in it, it was like the motor was supposed to be there.
This solves the biggest problem with these vehicles is just the speed. Like the engine and tranny wasn't designed for
Right.
U.S. highways, so you're ringing it out, and your EGTs are skyrocketing, and and you're still in the slow lane with the semis, and they're passing you.
Right, 45, 47, you're like,
that's
come
what
on,
it's
girl.
like. Yeah, and I'm on still relatively small tires,
Right.
So, I've gone through 2 engines already with this thing. First engine was just stock, and it wasn't a whole lot of power, and I said, all right, well, the spun and bearing on that thing, just drive it around normal. Second engine, put ARP studs in it. I put a bigger turbo. I was boosting 25 psi,
Right.
and I'm still like slow as shit.
Right.
Just
whining it out.
whining it out, and it's just slow. And I love everything about it. I just didn't like the speed, and
Right.
this solves that.
Oh yeah,
This totally
I mean,
solves
this thing will be a cruiser probably.
Oh, yeah,
590, just
like nothing.
no problem.
Like nothing.
2,500 RPMs. Bad. Yeah.
They do tuner boxes for these things too. I bought one. So I'm gonna go. Let's just see how this
See how it
thing
drives
goes.
first,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
you
exactly. But you can just you can go through the power switches. But
Right.
I think on the highest level, it's something like over 400 pound-feet of torque. So.
Oh yeah, you're doing all-wheel drive donuts.
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, twin lock though.
Oh yeah.
You have the clearance. The wheelbase. It can go over. It can go through most things.
Yeah. No, I think it's gonna be quite the little rig, and I mean, same deal. When we designed this, I told Jesse, I was like, man, he said he wants to bring this thing on the Rubicon, and my biggest scare that I had was the damn plastic oil pans, and I was like, let's give this guy some protection, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
He's gonna need it. If he's gonna use it like I think he's gonna use it, let's make it to where it can get used.
Summertime. I think maybe beginning of summer. That's my plan.
Yeah.
I want to go on the con, and that's gonna make noise.
Yeah.
Like
No,
this
that's
little
gonna be a
thing
big
going
thing.
through
Yeah. No, that's gonna be a big thing for sure. Yeah, I've got a few different film buddies that they're actually out at King of the Hammers right now.
Oh, really?
And they came and saw it, and they're like, dude, when you guys go on the Rubicon, you let us know. We're coming out. We're bringing the crew. We're fucking, I was like, yeah, let's do it. So, like, it's probably going to be a bigger event than you realize if you invite us.
It's gonna be so
If
dope.
you invite us, we're bringing all the homies.
Hey,
We're
no, you
fucking
guys
having a
are.
good time.
I'm expecting you to be there and to go with me.
No,
if
it'll
that's
be-
cool with you.
No, yeah, 100%. We want to be there, 1,000%, dude. Like, and we've
To
got-
film that shit,
Yeah, no, it'll be bad.
a minivan goes through the Rubicon.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It'll be fucking awesome. No, that'll be sick.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
So wild.
That would be wild. And I was like, maybe get this thing wrapped up. I got to bring the Unimog out, get that sucker rewired and stuff like that, and bring a couple rigs out there.
Yeah.
One will be a support vehicle, the other one will just pilot this sucker.
Right,
And take it through. What is it? One guy actually messaged me saying, Nate from, he's got a YouTube channel, you know that? Dirt Lifestyle.
no.
So anyway, Dirt Lifestyle. He's got a pretty big YouTube channel, one of the guys who has a Delica, he goes on runs with them. He's like, hey, if you're gonna bring your Unimog and you're gonna bring the van, Nate can potentially pilot the Unimog for you while you pilot the van.
Right.
He's
Cool.
so he might. There might be more people that are gonna come out too.
Right.
I think.
Cool. Yeah, no.
To film and just check this thing out.
Yeah,
you know?
no, for sure. I think it'll be definitely a world type event when it's released, whether they're standing there or not. You know what I mean? People are like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Sweet.
Okay, so any questions? Any comments?
I don't have any questions.
I mean,
no. Oh, Driveline.
Driveline, yep.
Are they? What do you think timing is?
So they said Tuesday.
Tuesday. Okay. Okay.
Yep.
So
and then I'm getting the diff back Wednesday. So I'll have the diff back Wednesday. I'll have the drive lines Tuesday. That stuff will be back in. Yeah, I mean, like.
Are they going to build it from scratch, or are they going to
Yeah, they built it from scratch.
Okay.
Once we changed the flanges and went 1310 on both sides, they said, "Yep, we'll just
start it?
Yeah, so then we'll give you the other ones back as soon as we get back from them. And then I would really expect that by next Friday, we should be taking our first ride.
Sweet.
So, yeah. Really just be waiting on that harness, last couple things
shakedown
there.
runs and stuff.
Shakedown runs, get the differential in, get the axles in.
Yeah.
You know, once I get the harness on Monday, I'll be doing my first key-ons, electrical testing, make sure all the circuits are working.
Okay.
Hit for crank, check all my fluids, fire it up. While I'm waiting for the axles and the diff to get here, I can just get it started, get all the transmission, you know, all that stuff done, all the fluids set. And then, yeah.
Okay.
So we should be hopefully by, you know, I'm going to say end of day Tuesday, sending you some videos of this thing sitting here idling for the first time. So
Nice.
yeah.
Oh man, I was not expecting this, Rick. I wasn't expecting this.
There was a
Yeah.
big ass piece of the pie.
Yeah, for sure, man. I was expecting, like you were saying, just a whole bunch of stuff, and
Right.
but it's really tidied up quite a bit, And I like the solution with the intercooler too.
Yeah, and
Smart.
again, packaging. So
Yeah,
it's just like,
yeah.
how do I do this but still be able to have cooling and still be able to have, you know, a few different things. So, and then, like I said, running fans on multiple circuits to where you can actually control that fan at different times depending on what's going on. So,
The only other thing left, I think, once this is all wrapped up, I need to probably get sliders and like a steel bumper with some protection for the corners. You know what I mean?
I told Jesse about that. I told him, I said, let's make him happy with what we've done.
Yeah, for
and
sure,
then
yeah.
He'll talk to us, and if he wants to do something. One thing that we still have in place that if we did pull this apart and do bumpers on it that I want to take out, the original oil cooler is like right there.
Yeah, it's like it's that little thing
Yeah,
right there.
and so like I was like, I got to pull the whole front end off to get to that damn thing. So I cut and pinched the lines, and it's still in there, but not being used because it has the oil cooler built into the factory motor.
Right,
And
right,
so
right.
I just bypassed that, cut them off, and it's still there. So, but if we pull the bumper off,
Yeah, we
obviously
just remove
take
it.
that thing out.
Yeah.
Exactly. Give us a little bit more airflow coming into the front end.
Okay. But yeah, that would be the only thing left really for the vehicle. And then my plan was to like do it through the con, and then once that's done, I was gonna have the whole thing like resprayed at that point because likelihood of getting scratches and banged up on the con, that's gonna be pretty high, but whatever, that's expected. And then I'm just gonna I'm gonna have the body match the quality of work underneath it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let us know. Obviously, we got to move for that.
Yeah. I didn't realize that you guys like shot your own stuff.
Yeah, we do everything. So like that truck when it came here, it was completely rusted piece of crap, and we replaced. I mean, so much stuff to get it straight. Did all the metal work, did all the body work, did all the paint work. I mean, everything works.
What do you think color-wise? I was thinking the in color right now seems to be cement gray and then maybe black on the lower portion.
Yep.
That'd be kind of sick, right?
Yeah, that would be a pretty dope color. And you can add I don't know if you like just basic colors, but I mean you can do stuff that you can give it a little bit of fluorescence and stuff like that. So you give it a little bit of light to it, but yeah.
I'm on that dope again, I'm on that flow again, switch up the flow again, yeah. Slide in the parachute, gripping that pole again, I'm on that all again.